Everybody, this is a quick demonstration of what a Singer 1588 can do. It's the treadle version of the Singer 1589 or the Singer 1591. You have your stitch length lever over here, and it can go from 6 stitches per inch all the way down to 30 stitches per inch. I have just regular all-purpose thread, Gutermann brand. I only recommend Gutermann brand. It's the only one that I've ever used with excellent results. And it is in a size 12 needle. So this is just regular quilter's cotton. As you can see, it does a perfect stitch on the front and on the back. Actually, I'm gonna zoom in so you can see just the stitching. There you go. It's a little bit loose on the back, actually, if you really take a look at it. But that's because I have my machine set up for thicker fabric. I don't typically sew super lightweight cotton lately. I'm making a lot of bags, so. That was 2 layers of quilter's cotton, and you'll see the stitch length get better as I get thicker into. So the one closest to the edge of the fabric is the second stitch. And you can see my stitching is perfect now that I'm into thicker fabric. So that is the quilter's cotton. As I said before, I have a size 12 needle that's in here. With home decor fat weight fabric, I probably would go up to a higher needle size, but I'll just show you what it would look like. The stitch quality is still pretty good, even though I'm using the wrong needle. Oh. I almost lost it there. So this is 2 layers of home decor weight or heavyweight fabric. And that is the front side. And that is the back side. That was 2 layers. This is 4 layers. That's 4 layers there. And the most difficult thing about sewing is that when you test it, you usually test it on just fabric in layers on top of each other, but most people don't test them when you're going from a low or a low spot to a high spot. And really you can alleviate problems jumping by using a hump jumper or a scrap piece of fabric. I don't find though with the treadle I have to do that. I don't know if the 1591 is the same or not. I'm sorry about pushing the camera. It's like right where my arm usually goes. And you can see there was no skip stitch there. It sewed it beautifully. And that's the back side of that stitch. And it went from 2 layers up to 6 layers. So that was heavyweight decor fabric with the wrong needle size for that as well. Okay, on to something else. I'm not too sure if this is going to work because I'm not using a leather needle per se. Actually, so this is just 1 layer of leather. And I do not have my Teflon foot in. So there you go, there's 1 layer of leather. That's the back side. I didn't grab my thread tail, so there's a little bit of a loop on this side, but that's just, use your ear, not any problems there. And this does not have a leather needle in it right now. So you might get a little bit better results with a leather needle. Actually, what I will do though is change out my foot because now I am going to be sewing 2 layers of leather, and you will find some resistance because it likes to stick onto the feed dogs. This is just a Teflon foot that I got. I'm not very happy with this one, but I had a difficult time finding one. Okay, so this will be 2 layers of leather. I have not changed my tension at all. That's going through 2 layers. It has a little bit of resistance, I won't lie, in the treadling of it. That is the back side, and that just got caught there. The back side. And that's the front side. This is the one that went through 2 layers. So if I use an actual leather needle in there, you would see even straighter, a better stitch. So that was leather. I will do vinyl next. This vinyl is a very sticky vinyl. It likes to stick onto itself. It's a little bit frustrating, but with the Teflon flip, it seems to work pretty good. And that is 2 layers of vinyl. This is just the start of the stitch, that's why it's coming up. You could easily pull that to the back side, it wouldn't be an issue. Okay, this is a stretch type of leather. I'm not too sure what kind of leather it is. It's very, very thin. I'm just rocking the hand wheel back and forth to bring out more thread. And that is the stitch on the leather, and then the stitch when you show the right sides. I'm not too sure if this would work. It definitely gets harder. Oh, that might have been me. I didn't have it on the longest stitch length. So that's too close together for the leather, but it did go through it. So I'll put it on the longest stitch length. We'll try that one again. So that is, the top one is the stitch on the longest stitch length of 6 inches, 6 stitches per inch, and it did go through it just fine. And that's the back side. Again, this is not a leather needle that is in here, it's just a regular size 12 needle. This is a vinyl with backing on it. It's fairly thin. I usually sew right sides together, so I'll show you right sides together. So there you go. That's your right sides together. That's just loose thread right there. And that's the stitch that it did. That was on the longest stitch length. So then I'll fold that back on itself. You know what, I'm gonna do 4 layers here. the 4 layers of vinyl. And then I'm going to show you this is a stiff, I don't know if this was decor home deck interfacing or what. It's fairly thick, about an 1/8. I honestly couldn't tell you what one it is, but I will not switch out the foot. I could probably use that foot. That's with the incorrect foot of a Teflon foot on that. And that's 4 layers that it's going through. I will just switch out this Teflon foot for so this is a rolled hem foot. I'm not very good at this foot, but I will give you a quick demo. Not terrible, but not good. So that's what it should look like. Oops, sorry. That's what it should look like. And that's the back side, which is technically the forward because I do it in reverse. But I got caught up in here, so it didn't work out perfectly. It's just to show you what this machine can actually do. It's a great machine. I purchased this a couple years ago for under $100. Now they're a little bit more expensive, but it's a really good machine, and you're never going to find the stitch quality that you can find in some of these older vintage machines. In the newer machines that are out, a lot of them have motherboards and they can break very easily. This one you can maintain mostly yourself. It does have it. There are some disadvantages to this machine. For instance, this machine is a machine that you have to maintain yourself. You have to oil it because it doesn't self-oil for you. So that is the underside. I don't know if you can see that. Actually, sorry. That is the underside of the machine, and all the joints essentially have to be oiled routinely when you're sewing with it, as well as a certain point on the machine at the top have to be oiled as well. Other than that, just have to clean your machine. I just wanted to go over some of the feet that I find very useful for this machine as well. Other than some of the feet that come with it, the bias binding foot is actually very, very good for finishing off seams if you don't have a serger or a zigzag stitch machine. Now that would be on woven fabrics, not on knit fabrics. This is a hemming foot. I've never used this. I find this is a little too convoluted for my understanding. There's a lot of numbers there, and it's just not easy like the other hemming types of feet that I prefer to use. This is a Tucker, I believe it is. I've never used this foot before. Seam gauge, it comes with the thumb screw that's on the bed of the machine, and you can use the seam gauge for that. And then another foot that I find very useful is this 1/4 inch foot for quilting. Gives you a perfect consistent 1/4 inch seam. I really like that, and I just believe I got this off of Amazon. It wasn't very much money at all. So I'm just gonna go show you also the, I have a few industrial flatbed hemming feet for my other machine. I have a cover stitch machine, and I really got into industrial binders, which I really enjoy them because they just make everything a lot easier. This is an industrial straight stitch hemmer, and it does a certain, this was the only one that I've purchased so far because I wanted to see if it actually worked, and it works really, really well. It is I believe this is the inch size. And I think I paid like $4 from it off of eBay or something like that. It was not expensive at all. So all you have to do is put into your fabric into the grooves of the machine, and this folds itself under twice. So you just kind of line it up with the machine. Once you got it all lined up, you got to get your thread tails out of the way, otherwise they'll get jammed. And that is a 1 inch hemmer foot. It works really, really well. If you get your machine set up with it, you can even just, this is a swing away one, and it works awesome. I do like that one. I just haven't gotten around to ordering more. You just got to get the hang of it. It's actually not hard at all. And then I'll show you the bias binder actually really quick. It literally just is you use the thumb screw that comes with the machine if you're fortunate enough to get it. For some reason I thought this one fit. Oh yes, is it? Nope. Oh, that's how I did this one. So this machine, I forgot that I did it this way actually. I just use sticky tack to adhere it to, just like I do with my Janome, adhere it to the bed of the machine, and then it actually is able to do the bias binder in larger sizes. You want to look for a B-style binder, and it works a lot better. You could also make a jig to go into these holes and then have it onto the bed of the machine. You could put it into the holes, and then you can have it rest like on a metal piece that then rests on here and is attached to here, and then it wouldn't move or budge or anything like that. But essentially you put it right up to those feet, and you sew in your bias binding. I think that's pretty much everything. This is a great little machine, especially if you can get it for under $100. Like, you can't beat the stitch quality, as you can see. If you have any questions, comment down below and I will be happy to answer them. I do apologize. This was a lot longer than I anticipated. Have a good night. Bye.